My name's Paul, welcome to Paul Perambulates. In this episode I'm in South Wales, in the central part of the Blaen-y-Glyn Uchaf, walking the classic Fan Horseshoe. My start point is the Blaen-y-Glyn Uchaf car park. Postcode LD37YT. Grid reference SO 05741758. What 3 words? Permitted eyelash jars. I start by going southwest on the Taff Trail, then turn northwestwards up the valley following Taff Fechan. I climb up to Cribyn and follow the ridge all the way around the central beacons. I visit Corndee, Pennyvan, Cribyn and Fan Big. I continue further east to the spot height on Waun Rydd, and then I visit the wartime bomber crash site and memorial nearby. I come back along the ridge via Cribyn Taff and Cribyn and drop down to the car park. Total distance 21.1 kilometres. Total height gain 1010 metres. Total walking time 7 hours and 3 minutes. Today's start and finish point, Blaen-y-Glyn Uchaf car park. It's absolutely free, it's got a good few spaces and it has picnic tables. First waterfall we see is just outside the car park. There are lots of these in Blaen-y-Glyn and we'll be coming down it later. Promising looking morning here in the beacons. It's a weekday but it's in the school holidays. There's a few cars in the car park. I've already seen a couple of people, so there's every chance it might be a good deal busier than what I would normally want. However, we'll see when we get up the top. Come round the corner on the Taff Trail now, getting my first view of Corndee, Pennyvan and Cribyn. I can see. Looking good, no cloud on the tops. Looking like we'll have a good day. Allow me to introduce Chris from Dorset. Hi Chris.
Hi Paul.
Bumped into him on the way up here and we decided that basically it would be safer as a pair. If one of us don't make it, the other one can let our relatives know. So we're gonna go around together. Should be fun.
Lovely day for it.
Yeah.
23 years between us. I'm definitely the one following at the moment.
That might change.
Yeah, it might change. Who knows?
Good stuff. Nice new bridge across the river here. And then once we get over that, we've got to make our way up onto the ridge. That's going to be hard work. Now we've got to the scrambling bit, so that's extremely steep. We'll be using our hands all the way up there. But when we get to the top, then we're on the ridge, and then it should get an awful lot easier. Looking down behind me, it already looks steep down there, and it'll look even steeper from the top. Nearing the top now, as you can tell by my breathing. Nice little waterfalls here, which we're going to have to kind of scramble over, but the sound's good. Section below, Chris is making his way up it, all scree, a little bit loose, but not too bad. Chris is coming up over the waterfall now, taking plenty of care like any sensible person would. Hold on, Chris.
What a view.
Yeah. Just go that way a little bit and look at that view. Beautiful. Chris and I have got to the top of that little scramble now. We are now enjoying this staggering view. I'm up by the cairn on the Cribyn ridge now. Suddenly I can see the western end of the beacons. I can see Fan in the foreground, Fan Blaen-y-Glyn further away. Then panning round to the north, great views over mid Wales. And further along the ridge, Corndee and then Pen-y-Fan. Top of Pen-y-Fan, as expected, quite busy, but to be fair, on any decent weather day, let alone one in the school holidays, that's always likely to be the case. We're on the last bit of the ascent to Corndee now. We've got a nice inlaid stone path, which is helpful. Still pretty steep though. At the top of that steep path there was a very small scramble, but now it's flattened out nicely on the final run up to the top. Chris and I have made it to the top of Corndee. Not a massive achievement really. Corndee is not actually really its own mountain, it's a shoulder of Pen-y-Fan. But from where we are, it sure looks like one, so we're pretty happy. What do you reckon, Chris?
Yeah, pretty stoked. Good views up here. It's getting busier, but yeah, a little bit further to go. Yeah, but enjoyed it so far.
Taking a stroll around top of Corndee. Pretty busy today, so really not going to be able to avoid having lots of people in the video, but that's all good. They all don't mind being on YouTube, do you folks? But anyway, the views are spectacular. As with Corndee, nice inlaid stone path up towards Pen-y-Fan. Goes to show how many people come this way really, so they've gone to all this trouble to make it eminently walkable. So it's a bit steep, but it's really not that difficult. Made it to the top of Pen-y-Fan, nice place for a sit down. As you can see, 886 metres, easy really. It's a bit crowded up here, so I can't really stay long, so that's going to have to be it. The classic scene at the highest peak, and only the highest peak of any range, where people queue up for selfies and group photos. While you're waiting, you can just keep on looking at that view. Coming down off the top of Pen-y-Fan, the edge of the summit plateau. As you go down, takes a bit of a steep turn here, but there is a path down. It's just extremely steep, so you need to take a bit of care. Use sticks if you have them. And then after that, down to the bottom, across and up Cribyn. Now we're on our way over to Cribyn. As we look back, we can see the steep, forbidding side of Pen-y-Fan. arriving at the top of Cribyn now. It's that moment where you come up right on the top and suddenly you can see everything. Here I am at the top of Cribyn, 795 metres. Felt just as high as the other one though. Cribyn is Welsh for ridge, and that is exactly what this mountain is. So, having climbed up the side of it, now we're going to walk down the top of it. Past this point on the route, the neatly inlaid stone paths have now run out. We've still got rocks on the ground to mark the path. It's not quite as easy walking as it has been up to this point, but all still perfectly passable. Okay, right, well, Chris has got to leave now. He's got to be back in Dorset in time for, what was it, darts?
Darts tonight, yeah.
Okay, so, been a real pleasure, Chris.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. No, thoroughly enjoyable walk, actually. Yeah, pretty good going. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that.
Excellent. Okay.
Perfect.
See you anon.
See you again. Till next time.
One of the many great things about this route is the number of escape routes you can use to shorten it if you need to. And Chris's parting gift is to provide us with an illustration of exactly that as he heads down the valley back to the car park. Left to my own devices now, following what is obviously a D&V team up Fanny Big. Once again, nice beautiful inlaid stone path, steep but quite easy to walk. They've made this path wind around, which makes it less steep but more long. Hard work, but the inlaid stones go all the way up, so it's not that bad. When you do stop for a rest, you can just turn round. You can see the whole east side of Cribyn, that ridge Chris and I just walked down. Behind it, Penny Van, and behind that, Corndee. If you wait long enough, you get the summit of Fanny Big to yourself. This is its most interesting feature. They call it the diving board. And if you look at the background way below it, moving, as I edge forward, you can see why. It's a long way down off there. I'm certainly not going to go and stand on it. This is another perspective on it. And again, it's a long way down. Just off the top of Fanny Big, got this rather excellent stone shelter. Worth noting for future reference. Very well built indeed. I think I've found the reason for the shelter, not maybe necessity, but the availability of materials. Gigantic piles of slate available up here. And lo and behold, next to it, there's another shelter. And then if we come round behind, there's another one there too. The materials being available means that even this far around the horseshoe, we still get these nice stone inlaid paths that make walking that little bit easier. Each mountain I climb adds one to the view looking back. top of Blaen-y-Glyn now, looking down the valley, heading across for Waun Rydd. And still, even this far around, we've got some really very nice paths to walk on, gravelly now, so absolutely no problem. There is no path up to the spot height on Waun Rydd. Why would there be? It's not a proper mountain really, it's just a lump. I've only really come here to make sure that I do one peak that nobody else does. So you get this grass, but it's not that bad. It's sort of deepish, but nothing like your horrible Dartmoor tussock grass. So I don't really have a problem with it. Basically I just keep going up till I find the top, and then I'll consider that navigational goal satisfied. I'm on the top of Waun Rydd now. There's a little cairn here. Not absolutely convinced that it is at the very top, but I've been all along the top, so it counts. I know I'm at the top anyway, because now I can see all the mountains away to the east. I can see Sugarloaf, the Black Mountains over that way. There are no real paths down from the top of Waun Rydd to my next objective, so having to descend some sort of roughish grass, but it's not too bad. When I get down onto this path I'll be okay. Particularly want to go and see my next objective though. It's of interest, as we're going to see now. This memorial cairn is marked on the OS map, and it marks the spot where in 1942 an RAF Wellington bomber crashed into the hillside, killing all 5 of its crew. They were Canadian volunteers, not really their war, but they came to join the fight against tyranny. Incredibly brave, and it's only fitting that they should be remembered. Would I have had the guts to do what they did? I really don't know. So I think it's right and proper for me to just observe a moment's silence, show my respect. Towards the last part of the walk now. The route back is along the other side of the valley there. There's a path along the ridge. Going to follow that along, then descend down off the end, and that's where the car is. Walking along the edge of Graig Fan Las now. And once again, there is some pretty serious exposure here. It is a long, long way down there, and I shall be very careful where I put my feet. That's why I'm not walking along as I film this. This is the river which supplies the Blaen-y-Glyn waterfall. It has this rather fetching ford that the path uses to go across it. Blaen-y-Glyn cuts its way down into the valley, making a series of waterfalls as it goes. Unfortunately, we can't see them particularly well from up here on the ridge. Visual treat here. ponies. First lot I've seen all day. Right guys, you're on my path there. Thank you. Enjoy. So that's where the car is. But I'm still on top of Fan Horseshoe. So to get to it, I've got a rather steep descent to negotiate. My descent has taken me down past the tree line now, and I'm accompanied all the way by the fabulous sound of rushing water. And when we get to the bottom, we'll see once again where all that comes out. No prizes for guessing. Comes out at the very same waterfall we saw on our way out the car park this morning. It's hard to imagine a more idyllic scene than this. I'm sat at a picnic table in the car park in the evening sunshine, enjoying a coffee. Over my shoulder, the waterfall continues to provide the wonderful sound of rushing water, and I've had a fantastic day. Difficulty wise, I'm going to give that a 7. Okay, I've walked 15 miles. There's a lot of height gain involved, so it was hard work, but there's been a lot of work on the paths, and underfoot it's no problem at all. It's really very, very walkable. I've met a lot of interesting people today. It was lovely to share the first half of my walk with Chris. What a fantastic guy. And I've met an awful lot of other people as well and had some really great conversations. Normally I keep out of people's way on the hill, but today, for example, I met some of the wardens. They were mending a gate. Guys who keep these routes walkable for us. Had the opportunity to thank them for their work. I also met an RAF team out training, and when I saw them, that was at the RAF Memorial. So that was even more poignant for them than me. So maybe in the future I should be a little bit more sociable. I've done the classic penny van horseshoe, but it's easy to break down. There are lots of escape routes, so you can shorten it to suit you. It's a classic route, and I thoroughly recommend it. All maps and 3D fly-throughs provided by kind permission of Ordnance Survey through their excellent OS Online application. Big thanks also for all music used in this video to mixkit.co, pixabay.com and tunetank.com. Specific song and artist credits can be found in the comments. These videos are designed to show you around the routes I walk in case you're considering doing them yourself. They are not designed to be any kind of hill walking training or guidance. If you need hill walking skills, obtain them in person from a reputable, qualified provider. Please don't attempt these walks without appropriate levels of fitness and equipment. If you don't have the required levels of knowledge and experience, only undertake them accompanied by somebody who does. You can find out more about me and my background and experience at my website, paulperambulates.co.uk. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Paul Perambulates. If you did, please subscribe and share.